Fourscore and 7 years ago, our father brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on the great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as the final resting place for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot concentrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have concentrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will no longer remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us to bring, rather to be, to living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here and have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to the cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion. We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Atlantic Magazine has a story about how Lincoln was thought of while he was alive and president. And he was pretty fanatically criticized practically all the time. And the Gettysburg Address, which is considered now to be one of the greatest speeches in history, was described by one writer as too silly to comment on, and by another one, so commonplace it's hard to believe it could be equal. And so much for fanatical criticism. We're well supplied with it. I think it comes mostly from jealous, resentful people who are practically out of their minds over every event that they witness.